hey, I did the bulk and then the cut, and look how much better I became. I put on 13 pounds with the aid of steroids. It only took me 9 months. And people are thinking, couldn't you just done this natural? Coach Greg in today's video, insane steroid transformation. Can you just wait to see the transformation? I guarantee you're excited. Not as excited as me because I've already seen it. I've read the comments. Can't believe what's going on. And spoiler alert, the guy's now a one-on-one specialist, a steroid coach. He's going to teach you exactly what to take so that you can make the amazing transformations that he has. I mean, after all, he put on over 30 pounds of muscle and lost 53% body fat, or so he says he does, but let's watch and find out. And so he begins his transformation at 6 feet tall and 156 pounds, stated 17% body fat. And my personal opinion is I think he looks fine right now. He looks to be lean, 17%, close to being ideal, and so I think he looks pretty good. Guys should just go to the gym, work out, and slowly gain, put on muscle over the next months and or years. But he doesn't want to do that. Wants to take a shortcut, and so he immediately begins his transformation with the use of steroids. And so his steroid of choice, testosterone, and a dose of 120 milligrams a week. That is in fact HRT. And so we don't know if he was hypogonadal or that he required this dose. It doesn't say it's HRT, and so we have to assume he just decided to do a low dose of testosterone. And remember, 120 milligrams, although it's not a lot, it does make a significant difference. I'm in fact on 140 milligrams and I'm 47. This guy appears to me as if he's in his 20s. And so of course he goes in a calorie surplus, eating a bunch of calories. And so with the addition of his testosterone, he's going to be able to train harder and put on muscle faster than last time. And so he begins his transformation on February 7th. And so 1 month later, he's already up 16 pounds. That is in fact a lot. But remember, he's taking test and he's in a surplus, and so he's going to hold on to a lot of water. He's adding muscle, yes, but with increased muscle glycogen stores as well as increased bloating from water retention, the 16 pounds he's put on so far, it's not entirely muscle. And a month following this, that's right, 2 months in, he's now up 20 pounds. And so initially he put on a lot of weight, 16 pounds. But the second month, he only put on 4 pounds. At this point, I do believe he's above 20% body fat, and I think he's bulking too much. There's no reason to go above 20% body fat in a bulk. If you do, you're just going to add unwanted body fat, of which you're then going to have to go in a cut. And if you watch him go through this bulk, you'll see that despite being in a surplus, some days he's heavier than others. Remember, this is 100% normal. Your body weight is going to fluctuate. You can't be putting on size every single day. Same applies if you're cutting. If you're cutting, you're not going to see the scale go down every single day. Your weight's going to fluctuate depending on how much water you're retaining, how much food you've eaten, and so on. And so fast forward to just shy of 6 months, the guy's been bulking for 25 months. He's now up 35 pounds. But remember, all good things come to an end, and because the guy has bulked for so long, he's now going to have to go on a cut. He can't bulk forever. Remember, he started at 17% body fat, now he's perhaps 25, and so now he's going to have to go on a cut. And is it going to be a mini cut? Of course not. You think you're going to lose all that fat in a matter of 3 or 4 weeks? He's going to have to cut for months. And 6 weeks into his cut, after now losing 12 pounds and realizing he still has a ways to go, he decides to up his dose. He's now injecting 200 milligrams of test per week. And so what would have been my advice? Well, why bulk so high in the first place? He bulked to 190, he's back down to 178, and he still has to cut. And so clearly, what was the point? He's been dieting for 6 weeks, now he's lost 12 pounds. And during that time, don't you think it's harder to build muscle when you're in a calorie deficit? And so after 2 more months, taking now 200 milligrams, he's now down to 169 pounds. And so remember, this guy has upped the dose from 120 to 200, and he went from 190 to now 169. Remember that starting weight, 156 pounds? And so although he's been on steroids for 9 months, the net difference, the changes, it equates to 13 pounds. And so if you think that everyone who takes steroids are going to look like The Rock, well, Exhibit A. The guy's put on 13 pounds in 9 months, and that's with newbie gains. And don't forget, he's still using steroids. He's never stopped. He's never taken a break. And so what do you think would happen if he went off? Well, because he's getting his testosterone from an exogenous source, his natural production of testosterone, well, it's going to be in the toilet. And so if he goes off, he's certainly going to lose a ton of muscle. And so does he decide to go off? No, of course not. Now it's time to bulk again. Yay! I did the bulk and then the cut, and look how much better I became. I put on 13 pounds with the aid of steroids. It only took me 9 months. And people are thinking, couldn't you just done this natural? What if you just stayed natural? What was the point of taking the testosterone? Is it actually real? Probably fake. Well, listen, for the most part, most people are going to get results a lot more similar to this guy than the trend twins. And why is that? Because you're seeing the top 1% of the top 1% of transformations. For the most part, the transformations you see on social media are the best of the best, the cream of the crop. And so you have to give this guy credit. He very easily could have lied. He could have said by natural transformation, and everyone, I do mean every last one of you, would have thought, yup, that makes sense. That's what you achieve natural. But because he says he did it with steroids, the people in the comment section, you suck. This is horrible. Fake gear. You don't know what you're doing. You could have done it natural. But could he have? I don't think so. If he had elite or perhaps ultra elite genetics, the best genetics in the world, probably could have put on 30 plus pounds of muscle. But if he had below average or shitty genetics, do you really expect to put on 30 pounds of muscle in doing what he's doing? Of course not. And so at this point, he says, look at how amazing I am. I put on 26 pounds of muscle and cut my body fat by 33%. Says minus 33% body fat from baseline. He says his body fat at this point is 11.3%. You don't need Coach Greg's laser eye vision to see that this guy clearly isn't 11.3%. If that's 11%, then Ronnie Coleman must have been minus 33%. I mean, really, does he look significantly leaner than he was at the start? I don't think so. If anything, I think he looks about the same. And so in reality, has he really put on 26 pounds of muscle? Or does he think he's put on this muscle? And so perhaps when you take testosterone and steroids, you start thinking you're better than you are. You perhaps build up an ego. Oh, look at me. I'm 26 pounds of muscle bigger. I'm shredded. I'm down to 11% body fat. No, you're not. But do you think this is enough? He's clearly made significant changes. He clearly looks like he has a lot more muscle. Not 26 pounds, but he has a lot more muscle. 13. That's a lot. 9 months. Not bad. And remember, that's with testosterone. But no, it's never enough. Is this his dream physique? Of course not. And so now what do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to go off cycle and lose half of those gains and try to be natural? Of course not. And so what does he now do? He's up in the dose, 600 milligrams of test. And so he's no longer in HRT type of doses. And I'm telling you, 200 milligrams for most people, that is not HRT. I'm at 140. Larry Wheels, 175. Do you really think that 200 milligrams for this guy is replacement doses? His testosterone is probably getting close to double the top of the reference range. And so 7 months later, he's now bulked up to 195 pounds. Remember, he's been a calorie surplus the entire time, and with that much testosterone, he's going to retain a lot of water. His glycogen stores are high, and so he's going to be very bloated and puffy, and so not all of that weight is muscle. He then decides, time to change the cycle. And so is he going off? Is he going to do a PCT or perhaps drop down to HRT levels? No, of course not. I'm not satisfied. And so to finish off this cycle for a few more weeks, he decides to lower his test to 300 milligrams and add in 50 milligrams of turinabol a day. And the result of this, he finished his bulk at 202 pounds. But remember, he's been on steroids for over a year and a half. It's a long time. Not to mention at higher doses, 600 milligrams of test. That is not good for your health. And so finally, he decides to go off. I'm kidding. You think he's actually going to go off? What he does is he lowers his dose to what he thinks is HRT, which is 200 milligrams a week. Now remember, 200 milligrams, it's not HRT. And so the reason for that is if he went completely off, he would have brain fog, loss of libido, no energy, and lose almost all of that muscle. And so again, all good things come to an end. And because he's bulked for so long, he's now going to have to go on a cut. Remember, he's not cutting natural. He's cutting while on 200 milligrams of test. And so he now says he's up 36 pounds of muscle, as he says he's still at 17% body fat. Does it look like he has 17% body fat? Please use your own laser eyes. Does anyone think this guy is 17% body fat? And so clearly the guy has put on body fat, but he thinks it's all muscle. And so what do you think is going to happen when he goes back on a cut? And so when he goes on a diet, a deficit to cut down to get to perhaps that 11% body fat he claims, he has way more fat and water than he thinks he has. And so his end result? He drops 27 pounds, gets down to 171. And so from the beginning, 156, to the end, 171, he's quite literally up 15 pounds. And so after 2 years of using steroids and never going off and ending with still 200 milligrams of test a week, the guy has 15 pounds of additional muscle to show for it. But remember, if this guy had to diet down for a bodybuilding competition, perhaps men's physique, he would literally be on stage at below 150 pounds. He stands 6 feet tall. 2 years of using steroids. I had a better transformation without the gear. And his response, 100% possible with hard work, consistency, and a nutrition plan. And so what he's saying is, look, if you have amazing genetics, you perhaps could in fact do a better transformation than me. But this is what he could do on his journey. He's not lying. He's not bullshitting you. He's not a fake natty. He's saying these are the results of me taking steroids. I'm not saying you can't do this without steroids, but what he's saying is these are my results. Ain't no way this is real, bruh. He responds, check out my coaching website. 20 months, 20 pounds of muscle, minus 53% body fat. And so what he's stating in the photo on the left is at 17% body fat, and the photo on the right is at 11% body fat. But do you really see that big a difference? And remember, the guy is flexing and has a tan. To me, he looks almost the same. He, of course, gained muscle, probably 15 pounds, but it's certainly not 30. One-on-one steroid coaching. My job is to get you the same results I did. But do you really think this guy is qualified to advise you on what performance-enhancing drugs you should or shouldn't be taking? Personalized, around-the-clock guidance to make a permanent, life-changing impact. Yeah, permanent life-changing is it? You're dependent on testosterone for the rest of your life. That you now need to use steroids in order to keep your physique. Built for guys who want to look like underwear models, not professional bodybuilders. Really. I spent years of my life lifting weights inside countless gyms, and I could never permanently attain the body I wanted. I barely even looked like I worked out. Sound familiar? Absolutely. And so what most people think is that everyone can just go to the gym and make a night and day, mind-blowing transformation through hard work. This guy, he did the hard work. He put in the efforts, but he didn't have the results he wanted. And so because of social media, the pressures, seeing the top 1% of the top 1% every single day, you think, I want that. And so what was the result? Of course, you develop body dysmorphia, and with that, you feel the need to take performance-enhancing drugs. And so he finally had enough. I've seen Mike O'Hearn. He did it natural, right? Maybe if I take those peptides, if only I did HRT, then I'd have my dream physique. Only he tried that. Started 120 milligrams, wasn't enough, bumped it up to 200, still wasn't enough. Then bumped it up to 600 milligrams, abused steroids for months. Did he go off? No. He lowered the dose back to 200 milligrams, which is still above HRT doses. And remember, to keep that physique, to keep those 15 extra pounds that he gained, he's going to have to do this for the rest of his life. What do you think is going to happen if he decides to go off? Going to lose perhaps half or maybe all the muscle, all the while having potential problems of brain fog, ED, the downstairs not working. And so is it really worth it? And so essentially, if you go over his website, he's basically saying the truth is that steroids, they used to be legal. And although they're not legal now, well, marijuana also is legal, but most people can use that in some states and so on. And so he's encouraging people to take steroids, to say, well, you couldn't do it naturally. You tried on your own. And so why bother? Hire him and he'll show you the ropes so that you can make the night and day amazing transformations the same as him. And I'm here to say, don't listen to him. Don't do it. Set realistic goals, realistic expectations. This is a much truer representation of what you can actually expect from using testosterone in the real world. I know you're all thinking you're going to look crazy, you're going to have so much muscle if only you use testosterone, if you only use steroids. But this is a much more accurate picture of what's actually going to happen if you use it. You are bombarded with images of the best physiques in the entire world, and of course, many of them are using performance-enhancing drugs, but these individuals have ultra-elite genetics. If you do have low testosterone levels before attempting to go on HRT, please give G-Test a try. Several of these ingredients have been shown to increase testosterone by up to 200 to 400 nanograms per deciliter. That is a lot. Andrew Huberman spoke to this on the Joe Rogan podcast. Also, you can try Acne Builder. Tens of thousands of individuals have used this and made significant differences in their physique. But my all-time favorite, GO2 Max, this can help everyone to become better at cardio. The heart, the most important muscle in the human body. Imagine having more energy, better recovery between sets. This can certainly help you to become a better butter burner and allow you to train harder than last time. Interested in these supplements or any of the supplements, please visit my website, code Greg, 10% off. Click the link in the description. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Don't forget to watch one of the boops, and of course, the cookbooks, training books, coaching plans by me and my team, the HLT sups, the Circle Diet book, and the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. Head over to my website, code Greg, 10% off. And if you have no money, head over anyway. Free diet and training program. You know it's over 50 pages. Head over there right now. And until next time, I am out.